Hello! Welcome to this week's video blog. For this week, we are going to do another look at my keeper shelf. I believe this is part 10. Um, if it's part 11, I'll do a little fixie-poo here. And this is a ongoing series where I take a few books from my keeper shelf, which is the middle one right there, and goes all the way down to the floor. And tell you um, why they deserved a spot on my keeper shelf. Now, some of these I've read like a long time ago, so I don't remember a lot about them, but for some reason or another, I love them enough to keep them, and so they have deserved a spot on my keeper shelf. And maybe it's time I do reread them. But my TBR shelf mountain is all that goes all the way down to the bottom. So I don't have a lot of time to reread things because there's too many damn books to read. So let's get into this week's look at my keeper shelf. We are starting with an old school Harlequin Presents Reluctant Captive by Helen Bianchen, and those old school covers. This one I, again, do not remember a lot about, but I do enjoy 1992. So, see, I think that's not that long ago, but that's like 30 years ago. So that's bizarre to me because for those of us who are part of like that generation, I was born in the 70s, 77, so like almost the 80s. So that doesn't feel like that long ago to me, but it's very disconcerting to realize that it is like 30 years ago. So I'm going through and I'm trying to collect, I want to collect like a lot of like the old-ish type vintage Harlequins. And this is one of them. I guess I should read the back if it's a keeper. Second time around. Kate vowed she would never see Nicholas again, much less share his bed or his name. But the powerful Sydney businessman was both ruthless and determined, and wasn't above resorting to blackmail to get what he wanted. He wanted his wife. So, blackmail, totally justified. And now Kate was back in the gilded cage that she'd once called home. But in the time that they'd been apart, Kate had grown older and wiser. She had no regrets that their marriage had been one of convenience, but was she so wrong to desire a future filled with love? No, Kate, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And Nicholas will give you that future in probably the last 3 pages. So that is A Reluctant Captive by Helen Bianchen. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And that is on my keeper shelf. The next one is Kinley McGregor's Master of Desire. Now, I love Kinley McGregor's historicals. Oh my god, I loved her stuff. I think that she's transitioned to paranormals now. I could be wrong, because I often confuse Kinley McGregor with Karen Marie Moning. And I'm not sure if it's Kinley McGregor that is her other author name is she Sherilyn Kenyon? Is that Kinley McGregor as well? I think yes. In which case, yeesh, because Sherilyn Kenyon has had some issues, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But when if it's the same person when she was writing as Kinley McGregor, I think this is the first one of hers that I read, and I absolutely adored it. Let's read back blurb. I can words. Really, I can. Uh, Lady Emily has always dreamed of a love and a marriage that would transport her to heights of rapture she has never known. But though the dark, dashing, and mysterious stranger who arrives at her father's castle has indeed come for Emily, romance has nothing to do with it. Draven de Montague, Earl of Ravenswood, his names, would never have entered the home of his most hated adversary had not the king himself ordered Draven to take in his foe's daughters for a year to forge bonds of peace between their two feuding houses. Yet here is a lass whose spirit and loveliness could tempt Draven to betray his sworn vow never to let another close to his heart. Emily knows the searing heat of her passion could burn down stubborn Draven's defenses, but will his surrender ignite a blaze so hot it consumes them both? I'm gonna see it as we go along if there's more Kinley McGregor on my keeper shelf. I don't remember, but I remember this being still to this day my favorite of hers. Oh my god, it's good. It's so good. It's good. It's dude, of course, denying his feelings, and then she breaks through his defenses and just turns him into putty, and it's beautiful, and oh my god. Yes, so the next one is Lisa Kleypas's Devil in Winter, with, as God intended, an insert cover. Now, a lot of people name this particular Lisa Kleypas as their favorite. This one in particular, Devil in Winter. And my favorite Lisa Kleypas is the one with Cam the Gypsy. And I think that's either Mine Till Midnight or something. Something or other. But it's the one where the hero is Cam the Gypsy. And I think the heroine is Winnie. That's my favorite Lisa Kleypas. But this one also deserves a spot on my keeper shelf. This one's Sebastian's story. And this is the one that where she wrote the most her when she dipped her toe back into the historical. I think it was their daughter, Sebastian and Evie's daughter, that is the heroine for the when she started writing historicals again. And I don't remember what the name of that one is, but this one, loved it, so good. A Devil's Bargain. Easily the shyest wallflower, Evangeline Jenner stands to become the wealthiest once her inheritance comes due, because she must first escape the clutches of her unscrupulous relatives. Evie has approached the rake Viscount St. Vincent with a most outrageous proposition: marriage. Sebastian's reputation is so dangerous that 30 seconds alone with him will ruin any maiden's good name. Damn. He must be good. Still, this bewitching chit appeared, unchaperoned, on his doorstep to offer her hand. Certainly, an aristocrat with a fine eye for beauty could do far worse. But Evie's proposal comes with a condition: no lovemaking after their wedding night. That's not going to last. She will never become just another of the dashing libertines' callously discarded broken hearts, which means Sebastian will simply have to work harder at his seductions, or perhaps surrender his own heart for the very first time in the name of truth. Y'all, she brings this boy to his knees! Oh, yes. So, yeah, I can definitely see why this one is a lot of people's favorites. Yes, Sebastian has issues. I'm not going to use the P word because I hate that word. I will just tell you what it is for definition's sake. Problematic. I hate that word because people, especially on social media, like to use that word to as a definition for things that they don't like about a character. They don't take into account the character's journey. They don't take into account the time period, the accepted social mores of the time. Nobody's saying that it's right. Yes, it was wrong for them to behave that way then, but it was socially accepted. And it just, they look at historical romance and stuff through the filter of 2020. And that's just, I think, wrong, in my opinion. It's just wrong. I mean, I've started rewatching. I found Dynasty, the 1980s show Dynasty, at my Value Village, and I've started rewatching that because I don't remember a lot of it because it came out like in the 80s and I was rather young. I remember Alexis, and I remember Jeff and Fallon, and that's about it. But and I've just started tweet watching it. If you want to follow me along for that, I'm at twitter.com/authorejamie. And so that, I'm a couple episodes in, and that's been an experience. But you have to go into it with the filter of leave your 2020 social morals at the door, y'all. And it's the same thing with historical romance, in my opinion. So those people who like trash on Sebastian because he has certain issues and such, yeah, just one of my favorite Lisa Kleypas' books, and I can see why it's a lot of people's favorites. So there. The next one is part of one of the most controversial series of all time. This is book 2 in The Flowers of the Attic by V.C. Andrews, Petals in the Wind. And it's the old school, yes indeed, with the insert cover. Now, this one is when Kathy gets revenge on Mama. And boy, howdy does she. Because if you're new to the V.C. Andrews thing, 4 kids get locked in the attic because their mother wants her inheritance. And they go up in the attic during puberty. Yes, stuff happens between the oldest boy and the oldest girl, and they fall in love because they've been locked away in an attic and they're the only sexual contact and experience that each other has ever known. And they go through hell together, and incest, schmincest, I don't care. I am perfectly fine with fictional incest. In real life, yeesh. But in fiction, consensual incest does not bother me. So this is book 2, where Kathy gets revenge on her mama, and they've escaped the attic, and Kathy decides that she's going to seduce her mother's new husband, even though Kathy herself is still very much in love with Chris, but they try to deny their feelings once they're in the outside world, and we see them trying to move on with other people. Chris tries with a lovely, when he's like in medical school, he meets the doctor's daughter, and they try and make a thing of it, but Kathy pursues her dream of becoming a dancer, falls in love with the hot mess that is Julian, which, if you saw the Lifetime movies that were done for this series, good lord, y'all. Petals on the Wind. The moment Julian walks in, played by the incomparable Will Kemp, the moment he walked in, the casting, y'all, I was like, oh my god, this man is Julian. Perfectly what I had in my mind. I could not believe the perfection of this casting. So, Julian and Kathy try to make a go of it, but that doesn't work out because Chris. Um, so let me read the little back blurb here. They were such brave children to withstand such suffering, such clever children to escape such terror. For Carrie, Chris, and Kathy, the attic was a dark horror that would not leave their minds even while they built bright, promising new lives. Of course, Mother had to pretend they didn't exist, and Grandmother was convinced they had the devil in them. But that wasn't their fault, was it? Kathy knew what to do. She now had the powers that she had learned from her beautiful mother. She knew it in the way her brother still yearned for her, in the way her guardian touched her, in the way all men looked at her. She knew it was time to put what she knew to the test, to show her mother and grandmother that the pain and terror of the attic could not be forgotten. Show them once and for all. And let's not forget poor Kathy. Oh, this girl goes through it. Poor Carrie. Poor Carrie. Little Carrie. That's all I'm going to say about that. Petals on the Wind, Book 2 in the Flowers in the Attic series. Oh my god. And finally is a book that not a lot of people know exist, unless you are a die-hard Bronze Horseman series Paulina Simon's fan. When you hear about the Bronze Horseman series, you think there are only 3 books. Bronze Horseman, Tatiana and Alexander, and the Summer Garden. But oh no, there's 4. There's 4 if you are lucky enough to find it, and I was. Sadly, I was only able to order it from Australia, so it cost me a damn pretty penny. But y'all, it was totally worth it to get Tatiana's Table. It is a cookbook based around the Bronze Horseman series, which with recipes from that Tatiana either mentions during the first 3 books, or inspired by scenes from the other 3 books. But it's not just a cookbook. It's a cookbook with little scenes, actual like scenes, or I guess not really like deleted scenes from the books, but just different scenes of like what would be happening around the time of like when in connection to like that recipe. So there's recipes, and then there's like more of the story and an alternate ending. Y'all, I'm not gonna mention what the alternate ending is, but oh my god, this was so worth every damn penny that I had to spend. So I call this the unofficial book 4. Book 4 of the Bronze Horseman trilogy. Many years have passed since that first time Tatiana made lazy cabbage for Alexander. Yet it was still vivid in her mind. Her grandmother's slightly hoarse, quiet voice, the taking of the tram across the river, the waning afternoon, the ache in her limping, broken leg, but above all, the desire to make make something for someone for no other reason than to please him. So good. So good. An addition to the series. If you have not picked it up, I completely cannot recommend enough picking up Tatiana's Table by Paulina Simons, a cookbook and so much more. So that is going to be it for this week's video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. What did you think of them? Did you enjoy them? And again, follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. That's where I'm doing my Dynasty 1980s. I know they remade the show with on like the CW or something with like Grant Show and like all these other like young people. I haven't seen that yet. I might check it out, but I wanted to go back and watch the old school, refresh my memory because I remember pretty much nothing. Um, and watch that, and sort of it would thought it would be fun to do the tweet watch for that. So twitter.com/authorejamie to follow along on that. And like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.